Hey y'all. Um, we need to talk about Christopher Key. Now, if you don't know who Christopher Key is, I'm sure that you know what he's about. Let me explain. So, you probably know someone who is militantly anti-vax. And when I say militantly anti-vax, um I'm not talking about someone who is concerned about the long-term effects or the efficacy of COVID vaccines and boosters in relation to the very fast rollout and who, feels that maybe a little bit more research should be done. I'm not talking about someone who is concerned about um, state mandates. Um, Whether or not you believe or agree with either side of that debate, those are conversations that are being had in academic circles. Those are conversations that are being had by reasonable people, for reasonable reasons. I I subscribe to one side of those debates, but those are arguments and those are conversations that are being had. I'm not talking about reasonable arguments. I am talking about the person who believes, among many other things, that governors should be executed for vaccine mandates. I'm talking about people who believe that ivermectin is something that should that should be the sort of gold standard for COVID vaccination and COVID treatment. I'm talking about people who believe that the way to cure COVID is by drinking your own urine. This is Christopher Key. Now, if you don't have any family member or friend who believes these things, either because you choose to stay away from them or unfortunately you lost them to COVID, you probably know a couple politicians who believe this stuff. Well, Christopher Key is an incredibly influential person, and he is responsible for either originating or propagating a lot of these ideas that are not grounded in any sort of research, that are not grounded in any sort of um, academic thought. They're utter nonsense. And unfortunately, the people who buy into this also buy into Key's ideas that this was a hoax, or that, well, it wasn't a hoax, it was a bioweapon created by the Chinese, which A, got a lot of people killed, and B, propagated a lot of anti-Asian racism. So most recently, Chris Key, and I mentioned this, um, advocated drinking your own urine as an effective cure for COVID-19. No, please don't drink your own urine. I mean, if you want to drink your own urine, if you want to do that, that's fine. Um, it's not my thing, but if you want to, just make sure you're sterilizing and all that stuff. But that's not a way to that's not a way to get rid of COVID. Um, these people will unironically look you in the eye and drink their own piss before they get a vaccine. And that's frustrating. That's infuriating to me. Somebody who knows people who have lost their entire family to COVID, who have seen entire sub-communities wiped out. Someone who has had COVID, who knows what it's like, who knows what it feels like to breathe and not be able to get any air. Someone who knows what it feels like to feel like you are drowning in wet concrete. That's what COVID feels like, by the way. You feel like you're drowning in wet concrete. You feel like you're on fire and also in a block of ice at the same time. You feel like your eyeballs are going to explode. Oh yeah, you can't taste or smell anything. And this man still has influence over people. Wear a mask. Socially distance. Get a vaccine. It's really not that difficult. It's not. Stop acting like a child. If you believe this, stop acting like a child. Because that's what you're acting like. You are acting like a toddler with a temper tantrum who will look someone in the eye and drink their own urine. And I am tired of acting like somehow that's reasonable. Because it's not. Y'all stay safe. Wear a mask. Get a vaccine if you haven't already. It's really that simple.